Welcome back guys, GTS Garage. Today is going to be one of far less waffle. I have recorded the beginning of this video probably 3 times, and I'm going to be honest, every time that I record this video there is a good 5 or 6 minutes of complete waffle which you are not going to be interested in. So I've re-recorded it to save you time. That's how much I think of you. Now, I will include the really interesting parts. Servicing 30,000 miles, 450 quid, which I don't really want to pay. You need a dealer tool to do 2 aspects of that. The first one is you need a dealer tool to reset your clock, and the second one is you need a dealer tool to work the ABS pump when you bleed your brake fluid. They are the 2 jobs that you need to do with the dealer tool. You may need it to also do something with the throttle bodies. You need to reset the throttle bodies. So that's 3 tasks that you need that tool for, and over that I have to pay 450 quid, which I don't want to do. So, short story, or the short version of the story, is I am going to do this at home. I've brought the dealer tool. I'll show you all of that as that comes in. I shall record all of that, record the setting up of that, and show you what it looks like. But until that arrives, which will be in a couple of days' time, I'm down to very basic tasks. And I say basic and long. So, my first job is going to be to take the entire left, right and front off the bike, because I need access to the, do you know where things just go out of your mind. I need access to the headstock bearings. There you go. I just have to wait and it comes to me. I need access to the headstock bearings, and I want to put the ram mount in there, which should be a 5-minute job. But Triumph insist you take the entire front of the bike off to do that. Very friendly of them, very friendly indeed. So enough with the waffleage. This episode I'm going to take all the skin off the front of the bike. Let's crack on. Okay, so like most of the best love stories in the world, these ones start from the rear. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the seats up. Place these over here. Okay, so the next step is to take this side panel off, which holds both of this panel and that panel. So we'll start here. Fortunately, I always start that direction, I shouldn't. Fortunately, all of these are 5mm, which makes it nice and simple. So we'll just take this panel off. What I'll end up doing is giving these a thoroughly good wash, and then covering them in ACF 50. Always misleading, that is. Okay, with those 2 screws removed, we just lift this panel up. There's basically 2 grommets down there to stop this. Take this panel away and put it somewhere safe. Somewhere where you are not going to tread on it. Okay, with the seats removed, we now have access to the 2 bolts that secure the bottom of this, and at the very top there are 2 more bolts. Let me see if I can see that one. And there, and on the other side there. So they are the 4 bolts that now need to come out. So excuse me. Always fancied those T handle ones. I always feel I do it faster with those, but I'm not quite sure if it's worth the extra money. I don't know whether it's worth spending all that extra money on a kit. I think at some point, as long as you've got a tool to do it, does it really matter? So there are the 2 at the bottom. Let me just move you up to the top. Hopefully I'm not blocking you with my arm, because that'll be absolutely a wasted camera shot. And now this should remove, which it does. Now you're taking that off because you need to access this bolt here. So again, these are all 5mm. Yeah, you're going to need to do a little bit. Need to be a little bit stronger for that one. So that's the next one, and that just basically pinches these 2 sides together. Okay, with the side panel off and the fuel cap cover off, We're now going to deal with the side. Now this is a compartment. I keep calling it a pouch, but it's not. It is a compartment. This compartment only opens with the ignition on. So you're going to have to switch the ignition on. Once the ignition is on, you don't have to turn it over, you don't have to start the engine, but the ignition has to be powered. This then becomes powered. You open it and you leave it open for the duration. So don't close it because you won't be able to get it back in without, you'll just cause yourself issues. Leave this door open regardless. The two bolts that we're after are the one at the top and the one at the bottom. Now we are going to remove this compartment. Let me just get this screw out and then turn the handlebars subtly, which moves the entire bike, makes you nervous. Okay, there you go, start her off, and then comes down to those, I suppose that's where the T-handled X's come in really. That's that. Remember, do not close that lid. That's that. Lift up and that whole compartment then comes out. With that compartment out of the way, you now have access to this bolt here. Again, 5mm. Again, too tight to do it with the small end. Never going to learn. There's that. We've now removed the 3 bolts. One from there, one from there, and one from there. We're then going to flip open the mirror, which doesn't need anything else, and we're going to disconnect the indicators. So just in case of pulling up one side, that's just come off, but that's okay. Let's get it can do. You just need very small hands to pick it up again. There you go. And it just fits back onto that connector. So there you go, and just push down. It's in there. So with that disconnected, we can then disconnect this. Hold it from the front. Don't let it drop on the floor. And that takes that one out. So there are actually 2 screws in the wing, in this wing mirror compartment. One we've already taken out and we've removed the lens, and the other one is at here. Now there is not a lot of room to do this one, so unfortunately enough, it is just a case of doing the best you can with what you have. The third and final bolt in the indicator housing is on the outside, and it's just here. Okay, once you've removed the screw from there, this section just removes. Okay, so we're at the front of the bike now, we're in the wheel well. There are 6 bolts in here to undo, 2 at the top and 2 on each side. So let's start with the top. One of the beautiful things I love about Triumph is the fact that they're so well made, in as much as I had an ST1300, which was a very similar kind of setup. You needed to remove the upper bridge. I would imagine that's like that is for a lot of bikes. Beautiful thing about this is it's just a solid, just bring it forward, drop it down. One of the things that we found with the ST1300 was the fact that it's just a nightmare. You're always trying to fill it in and clip it in because it had little flaps on the other side, and it just didn't particularly work very well. So we're on the left hand side of the bike now, and I want to just show you something quickly. First thing is you can see 2 bolts in your screen. First one's over here, that's the last one in the panel, and that removes the panel. And then you have one here and one on the other side. That is the brace. Now that braces, or that keeps the 2 parts of the fairing, the left and the right hand side, together. Okay, with the bolts removed from the brace, you then come underneath the bike, and with the Phillips you just undo the 2. Okay, with those last 2 bolts removed, we should now be able to just lift it up over the tab here, pull it away from the grommet there and it should come off. So that's one side done. This side should be nice and easy now because it just should be. So we'll first start with the side. Okay. Again, these just lift up off the grommets. Okay, so on this side is the battery. So unlike there it had the pocket or the compartment, this side has got the battery. So again, it's just a case of taking the cover off and undoing the screws or undoing the bolts. There you go. Right in the way, obviously. Try to reduce that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bolt. I don't know if you can see. Let me just quickly turn it down a little bit. So we've got a bolt there, and we've also got a bolt in this corner. Hopefully you can see that one. So they're the next two to come off. Those two in the pot. Okay, let's just move you back slightly and pull you down slightly. Okay, with the two removed at the top, we're now going to again pull that little black clip out there, and that really shows us this one. So, again, hopefully you're not just seeing the back of my head there, because that would be a very boring view. We're then going to come back to our mirrors. Again, pull out from the using fingers. We're just going to pull that forward, and we want to disconnect that first, making sure not to lose that little clip which tends to fly out. So we shall put that back in before I lose it. With the lens moved to one side and we've disconnected once again the indicator, we're just going to take this out. I always find that's a little bit too so I should just put that on there. Holding the lens, because we don't want to drop that. So you're then left with the second bolt in there, which is always tricky to get into. I wonder if you can just get your fingers in there. Yeah, you can. So once you loosen it, just get your fingers in there. Fortunately, I can't get the angle there for you to be able to see this. You're going to trust my word, but it's basically the other side. There's a bolt on the other side of this, which we're now going to undo, which I thought I just did, but I obviously didn't. There you go. That removes the back of the housing. Lever that free. There you go. Done. Right, so basically the back of the indicator housing, there is a bolt just here that allows you to remove the bottom of the indicator. If you don't remove the bottom of this, you can't pull the wing off. So you do have to take this off as well, unfortunately. But much quicker than the other side. Right, Done. I'm going to take this portion off now. Done. That are here. Again, not quite sure how much you can see, but it's exactly the same as the other side. You have the two that hold and two. There's not that much side this. There's not so much space on this side, so see. Okay, as always, it's always worth making sure that you give it a, just pull gently, don't start yanking it, because chances are if there's a lot of resistance there, you've missed the bolt, which I have, which is just under here. So I'm hoping this is the last one. It feels like this is the last one. So with that one out, let's try again. Move the handle. Right, let's see if this is this going to. Yeah. Okay guys, that is it. First side was fairly long and complicated. Second side was a lot easier because you've removed all those bracings. So apologies if the second side felt rushed. It wasn't. It's just that there was a lot less bolts to remove, as you would expect. That is it for this episode. I'm not going to do any more. It's now in a position where I can give it a clean, do ACF 50, the bolts and everything else that I can see, all the exposed bolts, give everything I've taken off a good clean. I'm going to be taking off the front end tomorrow because I want to put the GPS mount in. I will be doing the headstock, repacking the headstock, and then I'm waiting for that data. I keep calling it data tool, it's not. The dealer tool. Once the dealer tool turns up, I can then reset my clocks. I can do my ABS brakes. I'm going to do the clutch. I'm going to do my throttle bodies, and I'm going to show you what the dealer tool is about. In as much as I have no idea, I've never used one, but I will go through that setup on a laptop, show you how it connects and what it can do. Right, I think that is it for this video. You take it easy, ride safe,